Welcome back to the Blue Collar Trade Show, where real people share real stories about building, fixing, leading, and living with purpose. I'm Troy, and I'm here with the crew, Chad, Jim, Marissa. Each week we dig into lessons, have laughs, and hard-won wisdom from the folks who keep America running. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to the Blue Collar Trade Show, everybody. I'm Troy. That's Chad, Marissa, and Jim. Today I'd like to welcome Mr. Tony Hulbert from the Horsepower Brands and Other Things. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Troy. Good to be here. Good to be with you guys and ready to have some fun.
Very good. Very good. Well, we like to keep this light and keep this interesting. So this is going to be, we're just going to throw some questions at you, have a conversation. You can ask us questions, right? So part of all this, we've all been in the trades businesses for a long time in lots of different ways that you know. Love to get to know you a little bit better. And so let's just start with that. So when were you born? And I'm just kidding. But just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just kind of fire away. How's that sound?
Yeah, you bet. You bet. You know, I'm with CEO of Horsepower Brands, which is a franchise system of home service companies, a portfolio of companies, 9 different home service in different industries. You know, we've crossed similar circles with you guys in your past, being a part of a franchise system that's joined a portfolio, and then also then sold again to another portfolio. So we have some similarities of our past and within franchising. A bit of my background, just to accelerate it. Long story short, CPA, CFO out of college. I was a CFO at a young age for a beverage company. Got an opportunity to do a lot of acquisitions with that group. Kind of got thrown into a lot of different scenarios. Was an entrepreneur in nutrition retail and joined a group at the time. Me and 2 other gentlemen in our 30s had over 60 stores, 17 states, retail nutrition, 200 plus employees, and complete chaos, and learned a lot through that experience. You know, and had different consulting and different things I've done over the course of my life. Joined Horsepower as employee number 5 in January of 2021. We started with 1 location in the roofing space, part of our Mighty Dog Roofing brand that did about $800,000 a year. And to date, we wrapped up 2025 with over 400 business owners and locations and franchisees. We ended the year a little over 250 million in system-wide sales. And we're heading into 2026 with 9 brands, and we hope to continue to see the strong growth in not just franchise locations, but average unit volumes or actual performance at the franchisee level, because that's ultimately what matters. And it's exciting to be a part of this company, and each day has challenges, but we're all in home services or in the trades, and you know, use blue collar recruiting as a viable partner to help recruit and find talent for our franchisees.
Yeah. Well, you've been a fantastic partner to us. I mean, this is, I don't remember exactly how we came upon each other, but I know that it's been a very beneficial relationship on both sides. We've had the luxury of Jim. I don't know what what was the number? There was a significant number of your franchisees, particularly not on the varsity zone HVAC side, helping them kind of get started, finding general managers and license holders and a whole bunch of other things, which has been awesome. The thing I was thinking about this, so I'll start it off with this. So it's nice to see your background, and you, and I don't know why I was thinking about this yesterday, but of all the people and all the franchises, I mean, just think of all how many franchises are there just in the United States?
I think there's
5,000?
over 4,000 franchises, you know, restaurants and fitness and
And
everything. Yeah.
within
Yeah.
that, there's thousands and thousands of franchisees. So there's millions of people in the franchising space, right? And then there's probably millions more people that work in the franchising world, right? So, but I have never met anyone in my whole life that said as a young child, I want to become a franchisor. I can't wait to get into franchising as a 6-year-old kid. Have you met anybody that's ever said that?
Never. And
Isn't that
and
funny?
includes myself.
All the people
Yeah.
that we know that do this for a living, no one ever thought they'd be doing it. Isn't that funny?
And all the franchises that are out there, you know, all
Right.
the businesses that are franchises. But yeah, no one
I don't even know.
says,
Is there
"Can't
even a
wait."
college degree in franchising? And there's business degrees, but
You know,
do they even mention it? I don't. It's just funny, right?
it's a there's entrepreneurial type classes and programs at universities, and I only know this because University of Nebraska Lincoln, where I live and reside, they have an entrepreneurial course, and I do go over there and speak or participate in that program, and they kind of talk about franchising inside that program, but it's not a specific course or a focus. It's just part of the entrepreneurial thing.
Yeah.
And to tell the story of our founder, Josh Skolnick, he fell into franchising only because he was at a customer's house for tree care. And the person said, is your tree company a franchise? He's like, what's a franchise?
What's a
And,
franchise?
then
Yeah.
the whole long
That's
story of
okay.
him falling into that as an entrepreneurial in tree care and where he's at today, a good 15 years later, with Horsepower Brands is he's the only investor in this business, and he's been able to help with the management-led company and really scale something.
So where I'm going with that is, should we start our own franchising university? Because no one else has even thought about it, apparently, and just start targeting young
Yeah.
children out of kindergarten, right? Just start.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
we're onto something there. No one else
Start the
is doing it.
recruiting earlier. Yeah.
That's right.
You might be onto
All
something.
right.
I don't think I'm going to
So
follow
okay.
along
So
with that
let me
one, though.
ask you this. So as a young lad, and so you've come, from a CPA to running the show at Horsepower. You touched on it, but so go a little deeper into how this happened. I mean, it's a pretty big transition, right? But give us some of that.
Yeah. So again, our founder actually had two other franchise systems that he's exited to other private equity firms. And with that capital, he started Horsepower Brands and the portfolio that it is today. We are intentional. We want to be in home services. We, like you guys, understand the opportunity, and the total addressable market is very appetizing and appealing to us. We believe that we can help business owners scale their businesses in their local market. We think that it's an area that's ripe for local ownership and local involvement in leaders. And so it started around the whole thesis of we're going to build a portfolio of home service companies. And we started with Mighty Dog Roofing, a roofing concept in 2021. Not a lot of people were even like thinking back how fast we grew from just a brand acquisition. In 2021, late 2021, I did a lot of work talking to different people in different industries and what it could look like. And all that work led up to about 5 acquisitions in 2022. And everything that we've ever done is from 1 or 2 locations, complete incubation and growing each one of these brands from 1 or 2 locations. In 2023, we launched another 2. And then in 24, we launched Varsity Zone, which was our 9th one and the last one we've done since. In 2025, I was underwater and I just said, I give up. Like, I can't do any more brands. Josh, we're going to settle in and continue to focus what we have in front of us, which right now the runway for the 9 brands that we have is we could build something extremely special over the next 5 years and not add another brand.
Yeah.
But we still want to continue to consider other options and plumbing and electrical and garage, kitchen, bathroom, things like that. But it's been a heck of a ride. And it's all centered on, the success of our franchisees and them trusting in us and trusting in the vision and the platform.
What do you think? What do you think it is? So what you said that most of the brands you kind of started from scratch, right? So and all right, so you have a concept, or does it typically start with, a guy that has this small business and you buy it and then turn it into a franchise, or you just sit around, drink beer one day and go, you know what, the world needs more roofing contractors, right? So,
Right.
and then you sit there with your bar, napkin and draw out a logo and so how does it what's it go? I know both happen.
Well, so to answer the question, it's that first example that you have is we come across somebody that is open and operating a fencing company and an installation company. We've done glass, painting, blinds, heating and air. They're operating an existing business, and we come in. Some of them we've actually changed the name and then launched the brand from there. Some of them we've kept the name, but we put better branding over top of it. You can see kind of my banners in the background there of each one of the brands. And so it's not just branding, but then we come in and focus on their business as it sits at that moment and package up the operations, everything that it takes to run that business, understand the partners in the space, figure out where we hire people. At the end of the day, our business is dependent on people as a franchisor. And so we got to go find people to run the business as a franchisor. So we go recruit, hire, and find people in the industry to run our brands and our businesses.
Very good. And Chad, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Tony, I've been in home services my whole life, and it's a real grind, and
Yeah.
it can be very trying. If somebody were to get into the home service space, start their own business because they thought, "Hey, I'm a great plumber, I'm a great air conditioning guy," would you say that it's easier to jump in on your own and then become a franchise later on? Or would you say a startup franchise would be the way to go? What's your take on that?
No, that's a great question. It's the last one that you said there. We would want somebody to come in right from the gate. We've worked on some conversions. We've talked to a lot of people about potential conversions. Taking somebody that has done what you do and that grind and that grit and that everything it takes to just start that business, to change that person to kind of adapt. When you join a franchise, you are agreeing to work inside a set of guardrails. What I try to tell our team internally is let's try to see how wide our guardrails can be. But in the end, they're still guardrails. And so if you're going to convert to our business, you're going to now have to operate inside this guardrail. You're going to have to use our software tools, some of our partners, things like that. And so that first example of converting somebody, much harder path, it can still be done.
Right.
Now, 99% of the people that have joined our system are people that want to start a business and they're looking at concepts in fitness, restaurants, retail, home services, and trying to find complementary skills on how to start a business and be the leader of that business, knowing that they don't have the actual skill to do that work. They need to go out, recruit, and hire that skill and that labor to perform the actual work itself. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, no bad habits, too,
Yeah.
and that's a big part of it. So, is one of the home services more appealing to you, or do you have a favorite home service over one of the others?
I get that question often from candidates that are looking at a particular brand. I wasn't from home services, so I've actually been in home services for the better part of 5 years. Before that, I kind of shared my background. So what I have fallen in love with is the idea of taking care of somebody's home. I do really buy into the fact that, our home is like the most trusted place that we have. Like when people say like I'm going home, like it hits you in your soul and your heart, like the home matters. And so, like, I just believe that if you can deliver a great experience to local community and be a local owner and being out there, I just truly believe you can build a good business for
Right.
yourself and your family. And you can put food on the table for your employees. You can take care of your guys, your technicians, and your team. And like, you can just build a business. So, like, I'm all in on home services. When I think about categories, I think what you do, Chad, like I can see 1 hour on your shirt there, like that's a whole nother level when you have technicians and the skilled labor it takes to install that work. There's brands that we have that are subcontract labor. So when you sell the job, estimate the job, and win the job, the people that actually do the work are subcontractors. You still got to manage those people, and you're still responsible in the end for the work that's performed for the home. I think that those brands and those models are a little bit easier for the type of people that we're recruiting to start a business. They usually come from a strong sales background or leadership background, but they don't know necessarily how to train the technicians. And
Right.
so the technician driven world is definitely like if it was me going into business, I think it would be hard for me to step into what like you do and hire the technicians out of the gate. I need to hire a lot of talented people where I think the subcontractor brands would be a better fit for my skill set or my background, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense,
I
man.
have a question. I've had the opportunity, Tony, to spend a lot of time over the past year or so at a horsepower. And one of the things that always struck me is the culture. It's a very upbeat, very positive place to be. And I know that's important when you have guests in, but tell me how you feel about that, and how do you instill that as the leader? How do you instill that type of culture in a business?
Yeah, I mean, everyone says this culture is everything. It eats strategy for breakfast. So for 5 years, I've talked about like we can have this vision, this idea. We can say we're going to go do this, but without the people, nothing happens. One of our core values is intellectual capital. So I also say you can have financial capital, and we have that in the backing of an investor to build what we're doing. But without the intellectual capital and the people that actually know how to go run the play or go take care of people, like nothing's going to happen. So culture is everything. How I personally help instill that and believe that. Like I believe that you hire the best people out there. You go try to attract the best talent. So a lot of what I do to promote horsepower brands or myself, whether that's on LinkedIn or through podcasts or through conversations at conferences, I'm literally just trying to put the best foot forward of horsepower brands to attract people to want to be a part of it. And then what I've always found is if you go find somebody, we hired somebody that had a strong background in painting. And when you can land a person like that and bring them into your business, he's then going to go hire 5 more people that he believes are the best in his world. And he brings those people in. Or the same has held true with another, I could easily say 10 leaders in our organization. It wasn't finding everyone. It was like, if we could just find 1 or 2 and bring them in, any great leader is going to bring another 5 people behind them if they were a great leader in their past. So culture is everything. I do, this is something that I've kind of put together myself over the years, but I call it the talent multiplier. And this is my own way to like assess you when I'm looking to hire an ultimate leader of the organization, whether it's over one of our brands or in one of our Z services, but I look for 4 C's: competency, character, commitment, and capacity. And so when I'm looking for an ultimate leader, do you truly understand the role and what it takes to be successful in this role to grow this business unit, this brand? Character, like, do I actually want to have a beer with you and hang out? And like, are you a person that if I'm not here, you're going to make the right decision? And character is something that you can try to you can identify just through references and questions. Commitment, like I always look for people that just tell me now, like, just do you see yourself in this role for the next 3 years? I'm not asking that you retire in this seat, but I'm asking it like, does this excite you? And you could see yourself sitting in this seat for 3 more years. And that gets me enough commitment and do my job as an employer to keep them beyond that. And then capacity, I'm looking for hard driving people that have a big tank. Like certain people, they can give you 35 hours and that's what they can give you. And nothing against those people. I'm looking for people that can give me 50 hours and still have a little bit more energy left in the tank to continue to grow the business. And those 4 C's, like it's helped me like gauge the right people and leadership that I want to be a part of what we're building here at Horsepower. And it's
I appreciate that. And I see Chad is over there nodding his head the whole time you're talking. I think he agrees.
I'm checking him
pretty
off,
much
man.
all that, huh?
yeah.
Well, and I'm a good guy to have a bear with, right? So
Yeah.
I heard that.
check all 4 off.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, we do. And Jim, you've been at our discovery, and Troy, you came out. You've been to our discovery days, which is when we host candidates that are looking to buy a franchise. But oftentimes at those discovery days, I've brought through founders of businesses that was one of our acquisitions that we did, like the Stand Strong Fencing founder in Nashville. I kept talking to him and I just said, hey, listen, just come out to Omaha, see what we're doing here in Omaha, Nebraska, experience this. Because he was not, I would say 80% there. Like by Friday into discovery days, he's like, can we sign paperwork today? And I said, well, we could. I got to work through it. And the same thing with like employees. I'm like, hey, can you just get to Omaha and just hang with the team? Because if I can bring people through and that's like their first experience with horsepower, like we're in front of our prospective customers, our existing customers are going through academy, our employees are there. Like from there, like I don't have to do a whole lot. I just kind of let it happen, and it's a good experience.
Very good.
Yeah.
Marissa, you had a question.
Troy?
Well, yeah, so I guess he kind of started talking about it when I thought of my questions, with your little 4. But so is that also for the franchisees? Is there any like certain trait or like skill set you think that sets up one franchisee from another to be super successful or like at a faster pace?
Yeah, like franchise, it's an interesting world in franchising because you're awarding a franchise, and some people call it a franchise sales experience or franchise development. I think in franchising, when you're trying to work with somebody to determine if business ownership is right for them, like take franchise out of it. And we've learned this at Horsepower. And in the last 2 years, I've really put my hands into our education process. We're going to educate what business ownership is. And that means telling you the bad with the good. We're going to set expectations. I say oftentimes in our teams, it's not what you say, it's actually what you're not willing to say to people that are coming through. And I think we've really taken, and it's not to put a hard line to it or to discourage people from business ownership, but we have taken a good approach of like a balancing act of this isn't going to be easy. This may be the hardest, if we're pretty sure it's going to be the hardest thing you're going to ever do in your life of owning a business. The first 12 months is going to be a rocky path, the amount of capital. And so the first thing to answer your question is a willingness to have a real conversation with somebody that's looking at a business and of understand what the expectations will be. And then from that, like hiring people, recruiting people, retaining people, it's going to be a challenge. But when you're looking at hiring technicians in Varsity Zone, we do have a business partner that's in place that can help you with that. And this is blue collar recruiting. So we don't try to do it ourselves. We know the best that are in this space, and we recommend that you use the best to get you started and continue to hire people. The second thing is, it's just trying to I push a lot of the culture, getting back to getting people to think about what you hear often in my world is, why do you want to start a business? And they'll say, I'm tired of building something for somebody else. And I say, okay, that's a good reason for you right now. But imagine if you had to recruit the A player in your community to come work for you. Are you going to tell the A player in your community, hey, I started this because I was tired of building it for somebody else? Eventually, that person is going to think the same thing one day. Yeah. So what is your real why? What's your real purpose of wanting to own a business in Tampa, Florida, and making an impact in your local community? And I challenge people to think about treat every home like your own and just take care of people in your community, put dinners on the table. And if you start to really think through that as your purpose of wanting to start a business, I understand what maybe got you to think about it, but what's your real purpose? And that can sound cliche, but when I tell people that and they connect that dot and they really buy into that, I know that they're going to be more successful than the people that are doing it almost because they're tired of being a W-2. Well, that's not going to get you through those tough days. It just is, it's not going to work. And you're going to be tired of being a business owner at the same time eventually. So, yeah. And you guys know that, owning your guys' businesses and all the tough days that you guys have gone through.
Yeah,
For sure.
Jan.
Yes. So what do you think the biggest myth about franchising is? I mean, Troy started out the show saying that not a lot of people ever dreamed about becoming a franchise or getting into franchising. As a matter of fact, I would go on to say that there's a lot of people that are against it. And I mean, it's obvious it's a good model. So what's the biggest myth? What is so intimidating about it to some people?
Well, a myth out there is that it's a guaranteed to working. And that's just something. It's fitness, restaurants. I could open a McDonald's and fail. And, and it could be a whole list of reasons why that failed. So I think that the myth is that it's a guarantee or that it's going to work no matter what. It still is going to be highly dependent on the operator and the business owner. And I don't care what franchise model it is. Find me the one that is guaranteed to work, not people dependent. And I'll start writing the check and opening those locations myself very quickly.
Chick-fil-A.
So I think,
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say
I knew you were
Chick-fil-A.
too.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Every call we talk about
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, we should get them as a sponsor.
Chick-fil-A, yeah. But they're interesting. We called them 10 years ago when we were in the retail business, and they were coming around and we had 60 some stores, and so we knew how to manage locations in retail. So we're we want to buy Chick-fil-A, and they were like, no, you can't. You got to work in the store. You don't own it.
Yeah.
You only get 50% of the profits. And we're like, no, what you don't understand is we have 60 some stores. We know how to manage people. We can scale this. We know how to do this. They're like, no, you don't understand.
Right.
And they just told us no. It didn't matter what check we were willing to write. It was a flat no. So they're very selective. I think one of the reasons they're successful is they're very selective on who's going to run locations. And
Sure.
you're not going to tell them different, no matter how big your check is or
Yeah.
your experience. You're going to run that restaurant the way they tell you to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Kudos
know
to them.
that? Do you know
Sometimes
that
I think they
they
get
got?
their employees biased.
Do you know they got their start at
Say
the
it again.
Waffle House? Did you know that
I didn't.
Chick-fil-A got their start
Really?
at the Waffle House?
It's true.
I did not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the story
Is that true?
it is true. The guy
It
that
is.
made the original, I forget his name. I don't, but the original sandwich, he sold it. He made it. He liked it. He brought it to the Waffle House, and the Waffle House was selling it, and it outsold waffles. So they're like, we're not a sandwich store, we're a Waffle House, right? So they kind of kicked him out, and he's like, nope.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start my own thing then. Turns out that Waffle House made a bad
Amazing.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. That's a fact about Chick-fil-A. And another fact I think is they get their employees from a different planet because I've
Yeah.
never employees like that all in the same location. You know, they ship them in from somewhere else, another galaxy.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Tony, we're sitting here talking about all the success that you've had and all the good things, but there's probably something out there, a mistake that you made that you wish you could have corrected or done different, so if you could kind of share with everybody that one, if you want to call it a scar that you have that
Yeah.
that you wish you
Yeah.
could have fixed.
What we did at Horsepower, looking back, is not only did we launch 9 brands, we launched like a recruiting company. We launched a bookkeeping company. We have an auto dealership here in Omaha, Nebraska. So that's one of our entities. A marketing company. We had a wholesale company. And so when you think about, and all this was in the span of ultimately like 3 years. We've been in business for 5 years, but we did that from 2021 through 2023. And we'll take the recruiting company as an example. Like we were delivering great service to our franchise owners at a remarkable price. But at the end of the day, the scale of a recruiting company to match the scale of our 9 brands in terms of opening, it just was not going to be a feasible model for us to continue to operate and own each one of these Z services that we had. So what we inevitably have done at this point is we still own the bookkeeping company, and that's a required service for our franchisees. With my CPA background and a number of CPAs in our organization, we felt like we could continue to do that and we could do that right. And we still own the auto dealership, and we really own that because we can acquire fleet with our capital a little bit faster and get franchisees open quicker. But those are the only 2 Z services that we've kept as in terms of owning and operating. We actually launched a call center too. And so what's been right about that is we acknowledged it, we understood it, and we made the change. And so we still have what we call Z Recruit as a focus in an area that is important to our business to help our franchisees find labor and people to work in their business. The difference is we partner with blue collar recruiting and other sources to ensure that they have the talented organizations that do this each and every day. And so that's probably like the misstep. If I could have done it over, I could have still achieved the same goal and the objectives. We just would have done it slightly different.
Yeah.
Right. Very
And
good.
Marissa's like, wait a minute, you call someone else other than me?
Yeah, I said it. I heard the others.
What do you mean
Yeah,
others?
so-
What about,
Yeah.
so
You
No,
know what
I
your
don't.
voice is
Marissa, not me.
there you go. There you
Not
go.
me. Somebody else.
Yeah, it's not
They're
funny.
grounded. Tell them.
Okay, so one of the things, so when you talked about the different types of people that come into this, so do you see any common traits, any common personas that seem to be attracted to a franchise system? In my world, it's just like there's so many different. I don't think you can put if that's the guy, he would start his own business, right? So because you got people that are executives that have big golden handcuffs that would probably be pretty good at it, but they don't want to start over again, right? It's hard to get them. And then you got people that'll just buy anything. I don't know, but what do you see a common persona that's successful in franchising in business startup?
Yeah, first we see all types of personalities and personas to your first comment.
Yeah.
From an engineer to a salesperson to like somebody, it's more of a passion play and they just want to own a business, almost like a hobby. what we've identified for us, and it's not to say that they can't be successful in another brand or business, but for us, what helps to start a home service company is what we've identified is high sales aptitude or the willingness to do business development and getting out in the community, a willingness to be an owner operator and in the business day one and lead teams. And so, do you have some experience in leading teams, and what did that look like? And like the other like factor that always works, it seems like, had they been a part of a small growth company in their past, like not being part of, like they could have a high sales aptitude working for the med device company Stryker, which is great
Right.
and it will benefit running a home service company, but they had, you know, the brand behind them. If they were part of like a small, like gritty growth company, they understand what is to be expected when you're going to start this business of your own. And those people are like the unicorns that now they want to start their own business because they kind of have helped other people do startups,
Yeah.
and they have good leadership
Right.
skills and sales aptitude and biz dev. So that's who we're always looking for. We do get people that come through with strong logistics and like an engineer background or architect background, like an integrator. Those people can work as long as they recognize that they're going to have to hire the sales team. Oftentimes, some people that maybe they don't relate well with, and like understand that their sales team and that sales leader is what's going to drive that business out of the gate. And so, like, you got to make sure that you're open to managing those salespeople and creating a culture that likes to win.
Yeah. No, do you see any common themes? Okay. So that's the type, right? And you get somebody, and
Yeah.
I'm with you, right? You have to be able to grind it out a little bit, right? So, so they talk about it on Shark Tank all the time of can you take it? Can you take the grind? Can you roll up your shirt sleeves and go
Right.
get it? Um, but what do you see? So even the ones that do grind, what do you see as the most common mistake that new business owners make?
Yeah, it's just the lack of prioritization around revenue growth. I talk a lot. Those first 12 months, your calendar should reflect your priorities. When you look back, because we're all starting from zero. I mean, quite literally, we're all starting from zero. And I know there's some recurring maintenance plans in HVAC, but a lot of our brands has it's one and done. You put the roof on, and unless the storm comes back through, you're not going to be back there for 10 to 15 years. And so, like, not only are we all starting from zero, like every week we're starting from zero again, and we got to go get the business. And so, your calendar should reflect your priorities. And so, I still believe that the people that had these road bumps those first 12 months is because they took their eye off the ball, and they now have 10 projects to go install, and they're trying to run around to try to make it a little bit more efficient and focus on the operations or focus on like this click in the CRM or the software, and they forgot that they got to keep filling this pipeline. And while you had 10 last week, now you're down to 7 because you just installed 3 of those jobs, or whatever the case is. So priorities, I say people that you want to show me your priorities, show me your calendar, and I'll understand that. And so I think that's a big piece. And even to this day, and I'm a CPA numbers background, as going into our 6th year at Horsepower Brands, I can comfortably say that 60 to 70% of my time today is still focused on the revenue generation in our business. And I look at the meetings I host, and I'm like, did that meeting get me to a goal to drive royalties, which is system wide sales and sales to my franchisee? So if they're driving their sales, we win. Or is that meeting centered around on awarding and finding new people that want to buy one of our franchise? If I'm like less than 70% of my time focused in those areas, because we can hire people on the
Right.
operations and the market, and I'm not great at market. I'm not an expert in marketing. So like I focus a lot of my attention towards revenue generation. And I think small business owners have to do the same.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's interesting. So let me take a different
Yeah.
angle here on a different kind of question. So I would have said who so AI, right? So the whole world's talking about AI. There's a bunch of money. Nobody really knows where it's going to go, but it's obviously going to be very transformational. Transform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's that word go, Marissa? Transformational.
Transformation.
The
Yeah.
So, even a couple weeks ago, I would have said, there's no way a robot's going to show up at my house and fix my water heater anytime soon. I'm actually starting to second guess that. Right.
Yeah.
So Chad doesn't agree, but
That's scary.
I just saw a
That's
guy walk. I just saw a thing on TV
a robot.
where he was literally fixing a car, right? So, and it was okay. So I don't know, but where do you think this is going? Right. So twofold question. Where do you think this is going in home services? Is it even possible that some of this stuff could change as much as they think? But more closer to home right this second. How is AI impacting your business, even from marketing and just from operational excellence, all that kind of stuff? I'm sure you guys are pretty bullish on it internally to help your franchisees grow. How are you using it today?
Yeah. So artificial intelligence, I think the first thing is to recognize like truly what it is. And my belief is it's truly a level of intelligence that should augment and improve whatever business you have today. Because now this thing can infinitely think on your behalf with the information that you provide it, along with other outside information. So today, where we're focused on is how do we leverage AI in our businesses? One of them's a sales listening tool that as we go into homes, it's able to not just take notes, like if transcriptions happening with Zoom meetings today, it's taking notes or note takers. We're doing the same thing inside the home with a software called Rilla, and so part of it's note taking, but the real opportunity is the coaching that it can occur for the salesperson or the technician in the home. And this thing can hear tonality, which we know that tone matters when you're talking to a homeowner and trying to win bids. It can hear process and how you're presenting the bids and in what steps. It can hear like the key words. It can hear how fast you're talking. And so, can the homeowner even understand, or are you talking too fast? Are you interrupting them with your patience? And so, this sales listening tool is through that recording and that transcription, the intelligence of it can instantaneously provide feedback to a key employee, a sales employee, or a technician. Which before, we would have to do ride along, and we had to be in truck.
Right.
And to grow somebody, like you'd have to be right alongside that person. And you can only do that at scale to so many times. So this tool, like the iterations of it, is amazing. The second thing that we're looking at is a call center. This is where I can go back and forth and debate with different people because some of our brands, it's about appointment setting, and we can't sell you a painting job over the phone or a roof job over the phone. So we got to just get to the appointment. And I can tell you that the AI today is 2 years later is so much further ahead on being able to convert an appointment because ultimately day of the week and what time and what service you're looking for, we can validate those things. Boom, it's set up. So we have locations right now using AI as their call center, and the conversions are equal or higher, oftentimes higher than the human call center.
Which one are
So
you
like
using?
those are like
Which brand are you using for the call center?
Yeah, we found a group. It's called Pipeline Generator, and we tested about 10 plus groups. There's so many out there in the AI call center world that says that they're the best of the best. I think there's going to be a lot of consolidation with those tools,
For sure.
specifically in the call center, and we'll see which one like lands in the end. We made it in a way where we believe we can adapt and change depending on the nature of the software. But I'll end with like artificial intelligence. Like there's two things I know that I believe I know is one, the consumer is going to become more accustomed to using it more than ever. And number two, it will incrementally get better, not by the year or the month, by literally the day and by the hour.
Yeah.
And so this thing is moving at a speed that we can't comprehend because it's able to move at a speed that we can't physically do. And so I know those two things are true. I think people need to lean into it to where it makes sense in their business. I'm a nerd, and so I follow Tesla. The big thing is like we won't know Tesla as a car company because Tesla will become a robotics company.
Yeah.
Is what the future of that stock is supposedly going to become. And we have a lawn care brand like HVAC. I think it might be a little bit more challenging. We have a lawn care company. Like, do I think that one day you'll see a truck pull up and a bunch of robots just like jump out of a truck and start mowing lawns? Yeah, I think that world may exist in the next 3 years.
Would you
I
let
see a
that in your,
robot
would you have one of those come to your house? robot lawn
I
care?
would.
I would do it
I
all
would,
day.
for sure.
I would do it all
You
day.
Yeah.
just
Dog
to see it.
walkers and
Sure.
Yeah, and people will be out there recording it instead of just doing the
Right.
work themselves. But
And just for your neighbors to go, wow,
Yeah.
how did they get that?
yeah. But and Chad, you know this better than me, but technicians in the field will now have a camera that will help diagnose equipment and then actually show you and adjust. Like, so it's gonna, I think, and maybe those tools already exist right now. I'm not familiar, but the level in which you could actually train future technicians and bring people into the trades even faster and give them the tools that they need to be successful out in the field, like it's going to be that's artificial intelligence. I think that those things will be real, like training, development, and accessibility to tools and information to our employees out in the field. I think that's going to happen way faster than a robot changing something inside the actual
Oh,
furnace.
for sure. I mean, I already see, and that's my challenge with it. I don't want to poo poo AI and get Radio Shacked over here, but my challenge is that I don't want it to become a crutch for learning, right? So you can go on Chat GBT or whatever.
Right.
Hey, how do I fix this? And it'll walk you through it, and you learned nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Just like a
Yes.
GPS takes you to a house in a neighborhood, and without the
Yeah.
GPS, you can't even get out of the neighborhood. As back in the day with a map book, you learned the neighborhood, right?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
my challenge, but that's probably the old school in me.
That's because I
I
told
think
Chad,
I
have you guys chat GPT everything before they call you. And now nobody calls him anymore. And he's like, well, what
that's
am
true.
I here for?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's an interesting world. Going back to the home is still like our most trusted place, and I still believe. I hope in the end that we still want a human connection in some degree. And I don't know. I think we're going to see robots maybe in restaurants or some other interactions as a consumer.
I'd
But in
rather.
terms of people coming into my home and taking care of the things that matter to me, I hope that it's going to be humans for a period of time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It probably will be for our period of time, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, the whole reason I brought it up is I'm trying to think of how I was dealing with it even a year ago and how different it is today. And then you start seeing these things. It's just like, how in the world is this happening so fast? It's amazing. And
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, it doesn't happen yearly or monthly or weekly. It's every day something new is coming.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I have a question. So you keep
Yeah.
talking about like, the customer's home, your home. So at home, what's your favorite tool or your favorite tool that you have that you use or like fix? Because like Chad, told us before he breaks like millions of dollars of stuff that he always has to fix. So, or sometimes on purpose just to fix it for fun. What's
I
your
do.
favorite tool?
Well, Jim said this question may come my way, so here's my favorite tool if something breaks down in my house.
there you go.
Your
my
phone?
And,
There you
Call
go.
somebody.
Do you
I
fix
cut a
it at
tree
home?
down. Yeah, I cut a tree down in my backyard when I was like in my 20s with a chainsaw, and that was the house was fine, the fence was not. So
Oh,
after that day, like I just started calling people, and
Yeah, I went the wrong way.
I am not the handyman. I can do some things, but I'm better suited to have a professional come into my home, and so I'm the perfect customer for most contractors because
Not breaking things on purpose.
correct. And the other best thing is if you're the first one to show up to my house, you're more than likely you're winning the bid just because of the time. And so I'm probably one of the best customer profiles for most contractors.
I think that's what's missing in the home service world. That's where it still astonishes me. And Chad and I talk about it all the time. If you show up on time and you are nice and you smell and you look good, smell good, you're going to get the work,
Yeah.
right? It's not that magical.
And you do what you say you're going to do.
The bar is so low that's people are like, anything above that, I'll take. Right. So,
Yeah.
and
it's worked
still
for me.
people can't seem to accomplish all three of those things at the same time. Most of the time. Yep.
Yeah.
I want to know.
It's literally the reason when somebody gives me the bid the first time, in my mind, I'm thinking I could call somebody else, but likelihood of them showing up, it's not worth my time. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Right.
I'm not going to negotiate. Like, you promise that you can get this done in 2 days. Perfect. Just do it.
Yeah, and
I'm
they
out.
You
smell
are
good.
the perfect
Yeah.
customer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your business is based in Omaha. That's not because I don't know how much did you pay Peyton Manning a lot of money to say that all the time, or did that which one came first?
Yeah. He came first. And no, we have no affiliation with Peyton. Omaha's got a little bit of franchising background and happened to headquarter here, but we're actually remote, and so that's another change that we made in late 23. Went to Josh with 9 brands, and I just said, to build national brands, I got to go recruit national talent, and I can't. You had to move to Omaha, and we were losing too many great people that wanted to be a part of what we were building, because the move was not something that they would entertain. So we went remote, and so we got about still probably 60% of the workforce lives in Omaha, but for the most part, this office now sits empty quite a bit of the month. It's kind of it's a little odd now.
It's a big party once a month, though, that I've seen for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marissa, do you know why I brought up Omaha and Peyton Manning? Are you scratching your head?
No. I thought Peyton Manning played for the Colts or like
He did.
Indiana.
And then he played
He
for
did.
Denver, but at every snap, he would yell, Omaha, Omaha.
Oh.
That's every single time for his whole life. There's a story behind it. I don't know what, it was just how he reset every play, right? Was just yelling Omaha.
Yeah.
I can't remember. At one time I knew why, but it's we don't have a lot of things to claim in Nebraska, but yeah, that was one of them.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cool city.
So-
It's an awesome brand. And where are you going next? What's next for Horsepower? Got any secrets up your sleeve? So 250 million.
truly-
What are we going to do in 5 years? We're going to put this is still
Yeah.
recording.
We'll continue to add brands. We look at home service, and the markets we want to get into is plumbing, electrical, flooring, kitchen, bathroom, garage, and maybe some more stuff at the backyard. But it's going to be in one of those categories.
Robot lawn mowing, right? Yep.
Well, we already have lawn mowing, but we'll just put
There you
robots
go. All right.
into it. Yeah. So we'll just continue to be building in home services. We do have a play to kind of connect it all through a brand called Howie, which is that brand over there
Yes.
at the very end. But that's at the home. But we need a lot more customer interactions inside the home before that brand becomes relevant in the eyes of the consumer. But we'll just continue to add brands, and we kind of know what we finally know going into our 6th year. We know who we are and what we want to do, and we're just going to continue down that path.
Well, I got to tell you, it's impressive. I knew that you guys were young. I don't know that I knew that it was that young to accomplish what you've done. 400 in some locations, 250 million in sales. That I don't. There's not a lot that run at that pace, if any. Are there?
We don't. We think we're the first one to ever incubate 9 brands. Depending on even the scale, that's a whole different thing. But we're not aware of somebody else who incubated and started 9 brands, and certainly not in 5 years. So I think we're the first.
And you think about it, the average, according to the IFA, the average franchise sells 7 franchises a year at most, and so you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? What is it that? Yeah. So when Jim and the team and we all go visit Omaha, what is it that is so alluring? Because you're drawing in more people than everybody else. What is? I mean, it can't just be franchise brokers, right? But what is it?
Right.
What do you think that makes you stand out versus the Neighborlies and the 1 hours and all these different things, which do okay too, obviously. But you got something special.
Now, I mean, one thing with some more established brands that I know the teams over there at Authority Brands and Neighborly and these other platforms, like they've built out systems, and so they don't have as much runway or open space as we do.
Yeah.
What I think allows us to attract more candidates than maybe other portfolios within our systems is we have a unique platform with Z Services, and we're trying to solve actual problems in small business and try to put solutions in front of them. And so while we don't own and operate each one of those, we've spent a lot of time in thinking about recruiting and bookkeeping and how do you even get fleet and how do you put the outfit in the fleet And what are you going to do for the call center? And we're like piecing all these different common problems in small business. And do we have a solution for it? No, we don't. Like, okay, well, how are we going to go find the solution to ensure that when people come through, we still want to make sure that they understand this may still be the hardest thing, if not the hardest thing you'll ever do in life, in starting a business. The first 12 months is going to require a high focus on sales and business development and the all these things that set the right expectations. I just think we've kind of put a solution in place to common things that people are thinking about so that they can come to the decision. It's not, if they're ready to start a business, they see one of our brands as a no-brainer. And they get bought into home services, which helps. And then they just choose from there. So I just think it's everything that we built together is working. We got a great team, people. It's certainly not me. We got 100+ employees, and we have very talented people. I know Jim have met that sits in each one of our brands that helps us continue to grow and scale this this rocket ship that we're on.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, I like that I know Marissa has a question, but I like that because I've seen that. You just said exactly what I was hoping you'd say. And for others who are thinking about a franchise or looking at your brands, what you've done is I think you sat down at a table with your leadership team and go, all right, what do our franchisees need to be successful on day one? Right. And you've put together options of your own and partnerships you've built so that they can hit the ground running and not have to figure it out. Because I'm telling you, most franchise systems don't do that, right? They just say almost like, thank you and good luck, and call us if you need anything, right? It's maybe not quite that bad, but I'm telling you, it's that bad sometimes. And you guys have really, to me, that's the big difference with you guys' brands than what I've seen. And obviously it shows, right? So, Marissa?
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I think maybe it was Jim.
Oh. Okay. Any other questions? Let's do a final round of questions here for Mr. Tony, and then we'll let him go back to work.
Yeah. Tony, I know that you looking behind you, you got 9 brands. You're talking about adding more brands. You obviously have a heck of a lot on your plate. What personally is your key to success?
Yeah, there's 2 parts. When I changed this about 2-3 years ago when I think about horsepower brands. And this is Donna Miller wrote a book about story brand and how you market to customers, and you think about that. Our customer is somebody that wants to be a business owner, and so we talk a lot about franchising. And instead, now, like if you follow me on LinkedIn, I talk about building people that build businesses. Like franchising just happens to be the vehicle, and home services is the industries that we're focused on. But ultimately, like we want to build people that build businesses. And then my personal mission that when I look back at my life and the things that I've enjoyed like moments where I've consulted business owners. I'm strong in tax, fairly strong in legal, and understand like how to incorporate businesses, but then also have the finance component and business component to help people navigate problems in their business. So I've done consulting, but when I look at that, like, okay, what actually did I enjoy? And I enjoy entrepreneurship. And my personal mission is to make a positive impact on entrepreneurship. So if I look back at horsepower brands or whatever the next thing I may do, am I impacting entrepreneurship in a positive way? And so that if I can give all my effort to that, like I think that's going to be my personal drive and purpose as I go forward. And it's an easy way to help me make a decision of what do I want to be a part of today and what do I want to be a part of in the future. If it hits that mark, like it's going to be a much easier yes for me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
Chad,
we talked a lot about the benefits of becoming a franchise. I really love you talking about the myth of just because you're a franchise doesn't mean you're going to be successful. I think that's a huge myth, right?
Right.
And so there's a value proposition there for somebody that wants to be a franchise. But what do you think's the value for a customer? I mean, what's going to bring our revenue into these franchises? What can a customer look out at a group of different home service companies and say, I want to go with that one because it's a franchise? What would make them want to do that?
Yeah, I think at scale, ultimately it does become, you can say national brand, but at scale, there becomes a little bit more behind the promise of the work being performed. if the franchisor, I think, believes in its brand and its reputation, there's going to be times where a location or a customer's um, experience wasn't up to par. And I think the franchisor is always going to be holding the standard and ensuring that the brand is protected. So if you think it from the customer's point of view, I do think from franchising, what we should be able to do is we should be able to provide. I spend a lot. I'm not great at marketing from a creative side, but I do obsess over like the customer journey, and just like Amazon, like just remove as many friction points in the customer journey for the homeowner, and so it should be easy to book an appointment. It should be easy to follow up and have communication. It should be easy to pay for that invoice. It should be easy to reach back out if you have a complaint. And so I think a franchise system can really remove the friction and improve the communication to the homeowner and make it easier for them for the service being provided. I don't think price is still going to be if you're any good, like you should need to offer competitive price. So it shouldn't be any less of a price to a homeowner. It should be more quality work by a better owner, and just remove that friction for them to just take care of their home. So that ultimately I can just call one person to take care of this service in my home, and I don't have to spend half my day trying to talk to 3 different people.
Yeah.
That's my view from a why franchise for a consumer or a homeowner.
Oh, I agree with you, man. The standard is there, and there's kind of an extra promise there that says we're going to deliver. So yeah, no, I appreciate that for
Yeah.
sure.
I actually have two. So one, do you plan only like staying kind of the home services, or ever expanding out into like a Pilates franchise or something?
We will only be inside the home.
Home
Uh,
services.
Horsepower will only be inside the home. You couldn't pay me enough money to get into retail again. Actually, retail. I've never been in restaurants. Being open 7 days a week it's not easy for anyone. So that's interesting. But then no, and then fitness. I love the fitness space. I don't have any experience in that area. But horsepower brands will always be inside the home
Yeah.
and just the home. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, and outside the home, but yeah, perfect. And then my second one is, so I know you mentioned earlier, like the others for recruiting and stuff. So who's your favorite?
Oh,
For what? Say it again. Sorry.
who's your
For the
favorite recruiter?
recruiting, you're like, well, who's a blue collar recruiter, and others, you
Blue
slightly.
collar is
And
my
Nice.
favorite.
Say that.
Blue
who's
collar is
your
my.
favorite? It's
Oh,
like number one
yeah.
favorite.
Can you say that
Jim
again?
comes to
Can you say that
Omaha.
more clearly into the microphone, please?
Blue collar recruiter is my favorite. It's the best. Jim comes to Omaha. You see the smile on his face, and just to hang with
Yeah,
him.
he's so lovely.
Yeah. I don't know if he works too hard. I don't know if I should say that out loud.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
Works really hard.
It's no, you guys do a great job. We appreciate truly, like, we can scale our businesses faster with our franchise owners, knowing behind the scenes this is an area of the business that you're helping the franchisees. And I know inherently, because you guys are business owners, I truly believe that inherently that you guys know what they're going through, and you want to just help them be successful. And like, that's the culture aspect, is ultimately we just want to help people in business take something off their hands so they can focus on growing and scaling their business, inside their community. So
That's
you
awesome.
guys are the best. We appreciate what you guys
I was
do for us.
Does that
curious
make you
once
feel
I heard
better,
the others.
Marissa? There you go.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify.
Okay, I'll leave you with this. So one, give us one more last plug for Horsepower Brands and for anybody that's listening, because we're big fans. We want to help you promote your business, and so one more plug. Tell us what
Yeah.
we haven't covered yet.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and business ownership's been something that you've wanted to do in your life, we're one call away, and we'll just educate you as to what it looks like to be in home services, to be a part of a franchise system like Horsepower Brands. And I tell everyone, and I truly say this and I truly mean it, any person that comes through our process and chooses to be a business owner in entrepreneurship, I'll cheer for you. And whether that's with one of our brands or somewhere else, because I just know what entrepreneurship has given to myself personally. And I know what it can do for so many other people to be in control of their own destiny. It's a hard path, but it's one that I encourage everyone to entertain and become educated on. We're one click away, horsepowerbrands.com. Reach out and we take you through the process.
Very good. Well, I can't thank you enough for joining us today, Tony. It was really it was a pleasure to see you again and to hear your story and to, just have a little back and forth as always. So Jim, Chad, Marissa, we all thank you very much.